Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we are reading from Relationship Advice. Our first post is by Throwaway, Fiancé, 27F, threatening to call off wedding if I, M26, don't let her parents, M57, F50, move in with us after the wedding. TLDR, after my grandfather's death 6 months ago, I inherited 90% of his wealth with a no-contest will, granting me not only enough money to never work again, but also a massive estate he claimed was his hunting cabin. It's big enough to fit my fiancée, my parents, and her parents comfortably. However, I said I didn't want them moving in with us, and now it's turned into a total blowout. To those who will ask, no, common law doesn't apply to us, and after a heated debate she agreed to sign a prenup, with witnesses around, if I agreed to buy her a nice ring and a vacation once a year. She clearly isn't with me for the money. Obviously this comes off as a rich people problem, but up until 5 months ago, I was still living in a one-bedroom apartment working at a rather large supermarket retail store making $12 an hour and going to be paying off college debt until I was in my 60s. My fiancée is still working her nursing job, and we've been fully living together for 4 years. Some background into our relationship: we met 6 years ago. There were literally zero issues with us dating. When it came to some sort of conflict, we sat down, explained both of our sides like adults, and generally fixed the problem. We've rarely gotten into arguments and have the same end goals in life: children, grow old together, die, be buried next to each other, and have fun whenever we can. I've always had an incredibly distant relationship with her parents. When she introduced me to them, they both stated they didn't like me to my face and thought I wasn't good enough. Her father even said, "Not in my lifetime." When I asked for his permission to marry his daughter, which I stated, the only reason I was doing it was for an olive branch. My parents, on the other hand, love my fiancée. They scooped her up like she was one of us from the start, has never said anything bad about her in public, nor have they in private. She, at least in my parents' eyes, is the metaphorical second coming of Christ. During my grandfather's decline in health, I was the first one there. He just got old, and with being old comes complications. I stopped working my higher-paying job to work retail to have more time to take care of him because his other children were busy. This was a very stressful time in our relationship. I had just recently left my job, was not around often, and I myself was super stressed. Recently, I've began the slow move of everything over there. While we still have to live in our apartment until the lease agreement is up, there's nothing against the rules of me moving stuff. I brought it up to my girlfriend, how taking care of my grandfather has really made me realize how important my family is, and that I wanted to know if it was okay for my parents to move into the new house with us. My dad could retire, and my mom can spend the rest of her life relaxing, not stressing over bills, debt, because I can pay that off over time. I'm not insane enough to pay it all in one go. She expressed how that was an amazing idea, and how she'd like her parents to move in as well. I laughed at the idea, and asked her if she was serious, and why would I want to live in a house with people I don't like, nor want to interact with. She explained that this could be a good chance at us healing old wounds and making amends. I explained that not only do I not want to heal old wounds, if it was up to me, they wouldn't be coming to the wedding. Obviously this was the wrong thing to say, and now she's giving the ultimatum of, let them move in or the wedding is off. While I can understand her side, I seriously do not want to interact with them in any capacity. They've tried numerous times to get her back with exes, lie about me, even spread a rumor about me being unfaithful, until I pulled up real evidence of me being nowhere near where they said I was thanks to Google location. My fiancé knows all of this and still wants to try and rebuild a relationship with them. This past week, I've been avoiding her with excuses, white lies. I've been meeting with accountants, lawyers, wedding venue people, and jewelers. I've also been spending all-nighters at my grandfather's grave drinking with him and not getting back home until 4 a.m. To me, it feels like my grandfather is still the only person I can vent my deepest secrets and frustrations to. Which is why I've come to you, Reddit. I feel trapped. On one hand, I do not want to live with people I absolutely hate, and on the other hand, I do not want to lose the woman of my dreams. I want a third party's opinion on the matter, with no connection to me whatsoever, as I feel it's the best way to make a good judgment without people close to me influencing my choices. I'm more than willing to answer questions and know how this subreddit works because I too am a pizza-eating, pimple-popping Redditor myself. Next up, posted by Throwaway, my 25M wife, 23F, sabotaged my date with another girl and is flirting with me. Just for context, my wife and I grew up in a religious cult in which you have to donate money to your girl's father and he can approve the marriage and change. We were friends and I bought her when I was 19 because her father wanted to accept an offer by another dude she hated. We were able to work and study at university thanks to the facade marriage and always intended to leave the cult after we had stable jobs, which we have now. We live together ever since our marriage, but we have different rooms, split the bills, and can date who we want, of course. A couple of months ago, we went to our hometown for a few days to see our families, and she kissed me a lot. We were both single, which we never did, but it would have been weird if I refused too many kisses when we had to act married. After that, we went to the Airbnb room for the night, and we got a bit drunk, and she kept making sexual jokes, and we ended up passionately touching. We didn't even talk about it, and kept acting married for the rest of the time there, and then dropped it when we came back home. It was really weird. Then I had a girl flirt with me like 1 month later to a mutual friend's graduation party, and she interrupted and said to a friend of her, "I want to introduce you to my husband." I've been talking about divorce for a while, but she's making excuses and saying we'll talk about it later and we never do. I'm really confused about all of this. I've never been so attracted to someone before and she's a great person. We always had a great chemistry as friends and housemates. There were also moments in the past I thought about her this way, but never this intensely. I'm becoming really attracted by her. I always imposed myself not to do anything about it because it would be like abusing my position of power, as I literally bought her and was still paying back the loan. But then again, now we're independent now, and we split everything. Is it okay if I wanted to date her? What should I do? If I do date her, should we still get a divorce first, or just date and see what happens? Wouldn't it be weird to start dating someone who is technically my wife? I think I'm going crazy, and I need to take a decision soon. I very much doubt I will be able to not kiss her if she messes with my hair again like that. Next up, posted by Katie.Baby. I, 21F, found a spy camera in my room after my stepdad, 36M, put a surveillance camera in my window. My stepdad, 36M, installed a surveillance camera positioned outside of my window to scan our backyard while him and my mother and 2 younger brothers go camping. I couldn't go on the trip since I had work, so I was staying home to house, sit, and feed our animals. My stepdad recently put up new cameras outside, so I didn't see anything wrong with him positioning one outside my window. Come to find out, the very next day, I had my boyfriend stay over, and he found that the surveillance camera that was ran from outside my window and into my room was being powered by one of those spy camera power blocks. For context, my relationship with my stepdad hasn't always been the best, and we tend to butt heads a lot. He said a lot of questionable things in the past that I've written off because he's my dad, and I would never think he intended to be inappropriate or harmful. He's been in my life since I was 8 years old. Of course, I'm second-guessing everything now that I've found this camera. It was positioned to point directly at my bedroom door from the far wall, so it has direct view of my entire room, which I change in. I tried desperately to rationalize it and think it was maybe a mistake, like he grabbed the wrong charger box. Or maybe he was just trying to look for intruders. But really, there is no excuse for putting a camera in my bedroom. The camera even had an SD card in it. I'm beyond devastated. My stepdad even suggested I invite my boyfriend over to while they're gone so I have someone here, which is something he would never do, considering he's made it clear before he doesn't want him over when no one is home because he doesn't want us passionately touching in his home. My boyfriend and I are going to go through the SD card to see if there is anything on it. I'm at a complete loss at how to even bring this up to my mom. I confided in my aunt and uncle, since they live close by, and they have been very supportive of me having a conversation with my mom about it. This whole situation is extremely upsetting. I at least have some family to support me as I navigate this, but I don't even know how to bring this up to my mom. This is obviously going to change everything. She had my 5-year-old half-brother with him. My mind is racing with the consequences this is going to have on our family. Has anyone that has been in a similar situation have advice? How can I do this without causing extreme damage to the family, although that may be impossible? Thank you in advance. Update 1. I don't want to make a whole new thread, since I want to make a new update when my parents get back Monday, but I want to thank everyone for all the advice. I went to the police station tonight and filed a police report and turned in the spy camera with the SD card. The officer said this is a serious offense, and I will likely get a call early next week from an investigator due to the severity of the situation. I'm planning on telling my mother about the police report after we have a conversation about this on Monday with my aunt and uncle present. As for people messaging me about my profile, thank you for reminding me to delete personal information. Please do not dox or try to seek any sort of justice for me, as this may affect my case. Respect my privacy during this time, please, as it may be crucial during this investigation. This was the hardest thing I ever had to do, but whatever this was, it's ending with me. I hope I can get justice for myself and any other victims who may have been violated by him, since this will be heavily investigated, and the officer said it will likely be looked into further, such as search warrants and looking for more SD cards. I'm hanging on by a thread, but the support I have is what's keeping me together. I'm staying with my boyfriend tonight to keep out of the house. Thanks again for all the love and supportive messages. I'll update again soon. Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.